Excellent!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my coverage of CES 2017. I am here at the ASUS suite at Trump Tower. But first, a big thanks to my sponsors for CES 2017, Gigabyte, OCZ, a Toshiba company, as well as Deepcool. Big thanks to them, and their links are down in the video's description. Now, there's tons of stuff at the ASUS booth as always, so let's get right into it. Let's start with some peripherals. 3 mice. This is ROG Strix, and this is ROG Strix, and this is just ROG. This is the Gladius 2. It is a unique design in that it has swappable arm-around switches. They've upgraded a lot of stuff. They actually have new switches with 12,000 DPI sensitivity and the ability to switch them out, giving you up to 50 million clicks per switch, and of course it has RGB lighting, and it will work with the ASUS Aura software. There's an ROG Strix Evolve over here, which is ambidextrous, as you can hopefully see, and you can actually remove each of these click panels, the left one and the right one, and it comes with options for left-handed or right-handed people, because the travel distance on your left and right click are different, and they want to make sure that they have accommodated either one. Next we have the ROG Strix Impact. This one is light and fast and stealthy, and it's going to be a little bit less, of course, than the ROG Gladius 2. Very nice little mice. So speaking of ASUS Aura Sync, that's the software for RGB lighting control that they've been working on and developing, I'd say, over the past year and a half, since the RGB thing kind of took off. So this system they have set up here is a really good example of how it works. Coordination of many different parts internally, as well as a bonus feature. So right there you have G.Skill Trident Z memory with RGB lighting control, coordinating with the motherboard to make everything look. It's an RGB lightning storm, as far as I can tell, is the effect that they're going for right now. You also have, of course, RGB LEDs on the motherboard itself. You have RGB LEDs on the back plates of both of the ASUS ROG graphics cards there, which I believe are Strix 1080 Gaming X2s. And then also you have RGB strips on the case on 2 sides over here, and then they took and went outside the back of the case with this little cable, and they connected it up to this wall of ROG-ness going on there. So you have coordination of not only all the RGB lights inside the system, but you can also go out and decorate your desk or the wall or something like that. And then of course, if you get the right peripherals from ASUS, like a monitor, keyboard, mouse, that also have ASUS ROG Aura support, or Aura lighting support, then you can coordinate everything with the ROG-ness. I really want to quickly point out this Magnus right here, because it's a new product that ASUS hasn't really taken on before. It's a microphone. So features here are studio-grade condenser capsules. You actually get 3 of them, whereas you would typically only get 1 with a mic of this quality. Price point they're looking at is going to be around $150-ish, $125 to $150. And it's got USB connectivity. It's got individual controls here, so you can manually pipe things up or down if needed on the fly. And again, support for the ASUS ROG Aura lighting. Coordinate everything with ROG lights. Now, continuing with some ROG stuff, here's a motherboard that JJ did not have available when we did our video on the Z270 launch, which you guys should check out, by the way. This is the Maximus 9 Extreme. So I have 3 motherboards here I want to show you really quick. Maximus 9 Extreme has all of the extreme type level features that you would expect from their previous extreme level boards. So lots of I/O stuff there, and monitoring control and all that good stuff. USB 3.1 header, that's really cool. But you're probably noticing this water block. It's actually a mono block right here at the top. ASUS designed it. Bits Power actually manufactures it. It includes really cool features that I haven't seen in a mono block, such as these little rings right here, which detect if there's a leak. And you can set off a warning or tell it to shut down the system, or a delayed shutdown. You have options in the software. This little cover right here is for M.2, so you can put an M.2 drive in there if you got one that gets too hot. Drastically reduces the temperature of a really fast M.2 NVMe SSD. And then you have crazy support for fans. You actually have 12 fan headers, 4 up there and then another 8 down here. And they're all grouped very specifically, so you can connect up lots of radiators and have them all in a group and that kind of thing. There's other features here as well, but I'm running out of time. So let's move over here to this long line of motherboards, which lots of them I actually already talked about, but I didn't talk about this one. This is the Apex, and this is kind of the offshoot of the Extreme. The Extreme was previously, the top end, best of the best, and that still is the case. The Apex is split off to be a bit more geared towards really high-end and enthusiast overclocking. Now, that's not to say you couldn't get the Apex and use it for other tools or features, or just build a nice system out of it. But you'll note, for example, 2 DIMM slots instead of 4. All of this is to reduce signal noise that might potentially reduce your chances of getting really high-end overclocks. They have this crazy thing right here, which is actually an M.2 riser adapter card that they fit into a DIMM slot, which is kind of crazy, but gives you some M.2 support without having it have potential noise or signal interference with the rest of the board. And they've gone with other features like IC chips in there that are much better for high-end overclocking. So if you're going to see like world records for Kaby Lake being broken by ASUS overclocking team, it's probably going to be done on this board. Of course, on the right side you have voltage read points and all that type of stuff. You can individually turn off certain features of the board. And also, if you haven't noticed, this board has a kind of a cool design too. It is ATX, but it has sort of an X design, so you might notice the PCB kind of pops out there a little bit on the corners, which is also kind of unique. And then of course, again, full our RGB support and a little panel down here that you can kind of customize. You could replace that and put your own logo on it or something like that if you wanted to. All right, so what we have here is an ITX board and a micro ATX board. The ITX board is fairly new. The micro ATX board is actually already available, so check those out. These should all be available. If they're not out now, they should be available by the end of the month, with possible exception of that Extreme board. Now the ITX here, I just think they did a great job on. They have answered the call that many of us have had to give us an ITX board that also has color neutrality for the most part. They've also included an M.2, which actually is installed via this little guy right here, which is cool because it gives you the ability to have some additional cooling on it. M.2 will slot right in there. Active heatsink for it, so keep your M.2 NVMe drive nice and cool, and it fits on the front of the board right there. You'll notice there are some silver accents, but other than that, no real colors. There is integrated Wi-Fi, and then there are some LEDs on the board, but you can disable those. And if you do want to have, again, that RGB support, although there are no active RGB lights on this board, there is an RGB LED header over there, so you could integrate that with your case, and then, of course, coordinate it with the lights in your case or other ASUS RGB products if you wanted to. And then we have the Strix Z270G Gaming Micro ATX board. I don't have a lot of information about this board, but I just wanted to show you guys that it exists, maintaining a lot of the design and other features that we've seen with a lot of these boards, RGB support, all that good stuff, and it looks cool. And I like Micro ATX. Here's a cool little product. It's called the ROG Rapture. It's actually a router, a quad-core router. Features game boost and gaming port technology. This is again coming out in Q2. They're not quite finished designing it. It's going to have support for really high-speed storage. It's either going to be integrated or available via connectivity via USB, but it's going to give you just ultra-fast storage. So you could potentially like use this as a NAS replacement or something like that. But tri-band AC Wi-Fi, 8 gigabit LAN ports for wired devices, and 2 ultra-fast USB 3.0 ports. And it looks like an upside-down spider. Monitors, these are exciting. Actually, the one in the middle is really cool. It's a new industrial design, and this is part of the ASUS, well, it's not a ProArt actual series monitor. It is the MX38VQ. It is 37.5 inches diagonal from there all the way down to there. The resolution is crazy. It's 3840 by 1600, which is not 21 by 9. It's actually a bit taller than 21 by 9. The 4K version of 21 by 9 would be 3840 by 1440. This is again 3840 wide, 1600 tall. So you get a bit of extra vertical space. It's just a beautiful looking monitor. The panel is sourced from LG. Also includes 8-watt stereo speakers, Sonic Master technology, so you can actually route your audio, like say you have a laptop that doesn't have very good audio quality, you can route it through the monitor and then plug your headphones in there and you'll get a much better audio experience. That's really cool. Again, coming in Q2. Over here we have a 4K HDR display, which just looks beautiful. And ASUS is still in search of incredible. This is a 32-inch 4K HDR quantum dot monitor. So the color space reproductivity on this monitor is absolutely insane. You get 85% of Rec 2020 support, which is like the widest color spectrum standard that's kind of been standardized, but usually it's only used in really high-end stuff. 99.5% of Adobe though, 95% of DCI-P3, 100% sRGB. Just a beautiful looking monitor. Pretty cool looking stand down there as well. And it's 4K. Pre-calibrated with ProArt calibration, that it includes hardware calibration tools in there as well. Again, coming in Q2. And finally, I can't leave without talking about this new monitor. Can you tell which one is the better one? These demos are supposed to be synced, but I turned them on at the wrong time. But you can kind of get an impression back and forth. Obviously, you're not watching this on an HDR monitor, but the one on the right is HDR. The new one, ROG Swift PG27UQ. The one on the left is last year's model. Also a very nice monitor, of course, but this one on the right is better. We have 4K support. It is an ROG series monitor, so you have cool little extras like, you know, it fires the ROG ASUS ROG logo down at the ground underneath the monitor's display. 144 hertz rapid refresh rate, NVIDIA G-Sync support, of course, 4K HDR, 3840 by 2160, and it's an IPS panel, so you should have better color depth theoretically than, you know, a trashy old TN panel or something like that. DisplayPort 1.4 and HDMI 2.0 compatible, and I think this is a very, very nice monitor. I don't know how much it's going to cost though. Now, I said I was going to finish with that monitor, but JJ insisted that I should talk to you guys about this laptop too. Let's start with the bad part right off the gate. It's a $6,000 laptop. No apologies. It costs $6,000. It must be worth it. What they've done here, if you couldn't already tell, is of course integrated their liquid cooling. It's hot swappable. Well, it's not hot. You can hot swap it. Hot swap it. All right. It's hot swappable liquid cooling with that unit in the back, so you can run it air cooled with just what's here, or you know, keep that unit at home, and when you're ready to game, plug it in there. 18-inch display, IPS with G-Sync, dual GTX 1080s in there, full-size ones. It also has, what's the CPU?
It's an i7 latest generation Kaby Lake unlocked.
Okay, so it's like a 7700K?
Kind of.
It's kind of like a 7700K. It's some mysterious version of the 7700K that JJ seems very mysterious about. Mechanical RGB backlit keyboard. Obviously, it's a fairly substantial laptop, being that it's more of a desktop replacement made for gaming, and I imagine you could do lots of content creation and that kind of thing on this as well. And of course, full ASUS ROG Aura RGB support. ROG Aura RGB. I've been repeating that statement over and over again. So, guys, if you don't like desktop computers, but you want one, but you want it in a laptop, and you have $6,000, the ROG GX 800 is absolutely insane. So there you have it, guys, my breathless coverage of the ASUS suite, and I swear I've only talked about like a third of the things they have. They have a complete other room that they wanted to show us, but we ran out of time. So let me know what you think of this video. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. A big thank you, of course, to my sponsors, Kyle, as well as Gigabyte, OCZ, Toshiba, and Deepcool. Thanks, you guys. More coverage of CES 2017 coming very soon. We'll see you next time.